Protzman, I think you're on mute. I think you're still on. There you go. There you go.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. And counsel for the record.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So all right. So I believe this matter was brought by Ms. Antar. So Ms. Antar, why are you seeking this civil protection order?
Okay, so pretty much as I stated in my application, I had originally met the respondent a few years back.
So if you're going to give some kind of testimony, I actually need to have you be sworn in, okay? So I'll actually have both yourself and Ms. Protzman sworn in. Mr. Clerk, can you do that, please?
Yes, Your Honor. So Ms. Antar, can you please raise your hand?
All right, so Ms. Antar, once you have concluded, counsel may have some questions for you, okay? But again, so why are you seeking this order of protection in regard to Ms. Protzman?
Okay, so I first met Ms. Protzman in February of 2019. That was when I was pregnant with my second child. We were a member of a Facebook group together, and I had requested if anyone had baby items they wanted to donate, that I would be willing to take them. And I went to get some baby items from her that she donated to me at her home. From that time, from 2019, when we first met at that time, until 2022, we didn't ever see each other. We only were friends via Facebook online. We chatted from time to time on Facebook, and we eventually met out for dinner for the first time on February 18th of 2022. And since then, we had several dinner dates, and we were starting to become friends. She then offered to try to help me pick up my child from my ex, who I was involved in a custody dispute with. And he was at the time not returning my daughter to me. So I was venting to her about the issues regarding that. She offered to help me, saying she would pick up the child. I told her I didn't need her help, but she insisted. She claimed that she wanted to help me. On March 28th, 2022, she told me in text messages that she would help me in court by writing a character letter for me. 10 o'clock a.m. on that day, she offered again to pick up my daughter, stating that she would have her son with her and stating that she would also have her weapon with her as well. And actually, I do have the text message of her stating that, which I can tell you right now.
Have you already provided that to the court as an exhibit?
Yes, I did. And I can tell you which one in just 1 second. Just pulling it here. Okay, so in Exhibit 12, you can see where the conversation started. And she says, all right, I can go to Waterbury. If he or his mom starts shit with me, I'll have no problem defending myself. And then in Exhibit 13, she said to me, I will have my kid with me. If they try anything, I'll bring my weapon. No one is coming near you or me. Time for boxing, LOL. So then she stated, and nobody's coming near you or me. If they try anything, I'll bring my weapon. I asked her to reach out to my daughter's grandmother about meeting her, since my ex told the Naugatuck Police Department that the child would be with the grandmother on that day, after refusing to bring her to me. Elizabeth called the grandmother, who told her not to contact her, and subsequently gave her number to my ex. My ex then contacted Elizabeth, offered to meet her after confirming that the child was not at the grandmother's house. I explained to Elizabeth that I didn't feel comfortable with her communicating directly with my ex behind my back again, given our pending custody battle. Elizabeth reassured me that she wouldn't contact him. On 3/29/22, she stated that she blocked my ex at 5:11 a.m. after sending me insulting messages he sent her. That same morning, she asked again at 6:17 a.m. if I wanted her to pick up the baby from him, offering to meet him for me. She then sent me photos of a man named Steve she had been stalking and referenced another man named Vinny, who she also stalked.
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor. That's not founded and
It's
not relevant to the issues here that we're here for.
Your Honor, it is relevant, and I do have evidence as well that I have that she was actively stalking people and sending me pictures of this. And, this goes along with the fact that she even said herself that she was a stalker. And so
let me ask you, the relevance of her sending you these text messages in regards to other people is what? Just so I'm clear.
Just to demonstrate the fact that she has a history of stalking others, and she even stated to me in text messages that I am an embarrassing stalker. And she says in Exhibit 21, if you look at Exhibit 22 of these text messages, Exhibit 21, 22, and 23. On 22, you can see that she said, I found out pictures were actually of Steve and his sister, sending me photos of the guy that she's stalking along with the pictures of the girls, telling me information about them that she found out just from stalking their profile. She says in Exhibit 21, I am an embarrassing stalker, LOL. And she says, this woman is actually really sweet and really pretty. I said, how do you know she's sweet? You've never even talked to her. She said, she's a teacher, giving me more information that she found just by stalking the profile. And then
I'm going to renew my objection, Your Honor. Again, this has nothing to do with the issue on why we're here and how this pertains to Miss Antar. And there's no indication there that the person that she was allegedly stalking even knew anything about it or was put in fear of her physical safety.
Your Honor, I'd like to be able to finish without being interrupted.
He's making right to object. So I'm going to say, so there's an objection. I understand what you're indicating. The basis is so let me just cut to the chase here, if I may, Miss Antar. So, you do not wish to have any further contact with Ms. Protzman, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. And from your perspective, is there any need or reason for Ms. Protzman to have any contact with you?
No.
Okay. And maybe I missed this previously. What is Ms. Protzman's relationship to your child?
None. She's never met my child ever in her life. I have two children that she's never met. She's only seen them on the internet. Okay.
So you don't want to be friends with Ms. Protzman, and you have no reason to want her or for her to have contact with you. Is that accurate to say?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
And I just would like to be able to finish because I did, this was all just documenting what I wrote in the affidavit, but there's more to it that I wanted to say.
I understand that, but I think the issues are fairly well framed at this point. I think I understand exactly where you're coming from. So I'd like to give counsel an opportunity to ask any questions if there are any, and then if Ms. Protzman wants to be heard, she'll have that chance. Attorney Pignatello.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Antar, you said earlier that, and in your statement, you said that Ms. Protzman was asking you to help out, and you told her you didn't need her help. But isn't it the other way around? You asked her for help?
That's incorrect. And if I was given the chance to show the rest of my 40 exhibits and the text messages and all of the documentation, I would be able to show that to you. Also, the fact that
you didn't text her on 3/22 saying I was going to ask if maybe you could help me with Angelina today. On Friday, I can smoke you down and get you a bottle of wine if you help. You didn't write that?
That was the exhibits that I showed the same day when she stated that she was going to bring her weapon with her and she was going to defend herself against my daughter.
Can you answer my question?
I'm sorry?
Can you answer my question?
What's your question?
The question is, didn't you say to her, I was going to ask if maybe you could help with Angelina on Friday? Isn't that you asking for help?
Yes, that was after she told me multiple times that she would do it and offered to help me. And she told me every day, pretty much every single day, I will help you. I can help you. I'll go get her. I'll bring my child with me. I'll babysit her for you, saying that she would write a character letter for me, going on and on and on.
Right. And you didn't tell her that you didn't need her help. Okay.
I did tell her several times. Not in that particular message that you brought up, but I have months worth of conversations during which she begged.
And when you say that she wanted to bring her weapon, wasn't that in reference to you telling her that the neighbors in Waterbury threatened you the last time you were there?
But if you were to allow me to finish my affidavit and my statement, I was trying to say, I'm sorry, but I was trying to explain that I'm afraid of her because she's told me several times that she has a weapon. Regarding another individual named Julian, who she falsely accused of raping her, she also stated that she would ruin his life and she would do anything she could to hurt him. She stated also in messages that she has friends who are judges, lawyers, cops.
It's difficult to hear with multiple people talking at one time.
Your Honor, I would like a chance to finish my statement because I didn't even get to finish, and I feel that
I'm asking questions.
You didn't give me a chance to finish before asking him to ask questions, and I feel that that's not fair.
I'm not in control of this. Your Honor is.
So, Ms. Antar, I'm going to come back, but I clearly understand your argument. I've read what's already been filed. So I'm just giving counsel an opportunity to ask you some questions about what you've testified about. And then if Ms. Protzman has anything to say, if that's what counsel is looking for, I'll address that. Okay. So, other questions, Attorney Pignatello?
So again, just since I haven't gotten an answer to this question, wasn't her statement about bringing a weapon in relation to the neighbors in Waterbury?
No.
It was not?
No.
Okay. So when you said to her, do you want to pick her up from his mom's in Waterbury and meet up? And her response was, I'll pick her up, but I can't really chill. My son will be with me. And you say, when do you want to go? I can throw you gas or whatever for doing me a favor if you can. Last time I went to his house, his neighbor that lives across the street threatened me and said he would have his girlfriend beat my ass. I don't even feel safe going near there anymore because the Waterbury police don't do anything. And she said, well, if they try anything, I'll bring my weapon. So that was in reference to them, not you.
It has nothing to do with that because I told you that I was threatened by the neighbor's girlfriend. That has nothing to do with her. So that is completely irrelevant. And you're going on a point.
The response that I'm going to bring my weapon was in response.
Why would anybody attack her? That makes no sense. No, that's not.
Well, you weren't going to be there, were you?
No, I wasn't. Clearly, I wasn't.
So then if she had a weapon with her, that didn't put you in any danger whatsoever, did it?
The fact that she has weapons and she's mentally unstable
and tell you what the weapon was?
She suffers from delusions, mental health issues, as well as substance abuse issues. And I have from her own husband stating my wife is delusional.
So I'll sustain that objection.
She's told me that she's going to attack the individual Julian, who she said on Exhibit 14 that she's still getting satisfaction of the fact that he's watching her story on Snapchat and says, I hope he gets hit by a car. And I said, I thought you blocked him. Just like when she said she blocked my ex, but then was sending me messages from him. And just like when she said she was divorced.
So, Ms. Antar, I think you've answered the question. Okay.
Did she ever tell you what the weapon was?
Yes, she did. And when she was at my house, she told me she has a gun and she said that she's not afraid to use it.
But that's not in any exhibit, right?
Well, it's a conversation she said in person, so I don't know how that would have been entered in as an exhibit.
So she's ever threatened you personally?
She threatened to contact my law school, which is UConn Law School. She threatened that she was going to try to get me kicked out of law school and ruin my future as an attorney because of the fact that I questioned her husband about her erratic behavior after we got into this argument verbally, this text message argument on that day, when I questioned her why she's withholding the messages from my ex when she told me she was going out of her way to help me. And then I found out from her husband that she's actually delusional, as well as the individual Vinny, who he said he's scared of her. He actually says,
again, that doesn't have anything to do with you, right?
It does have to do with me because she dragged me into that by sending me photos of him, like in Exhibit 17, saying, am I going crazy? Is he taunting me? She has mental health issues. She's saying to me that.
So, Ms. Antar, I think we're going somewhat far afield here now. As a reminder to all the parties, I know you know this already, but I'll say it for the record. With regard to a civil protection order, the grounds are sexual assault, or sexual abuse, or stalking. And stalking is defined in a certain way. There's been some case law that's talked about whether this stalking can be completed through the use of internet, text messages, emails, phone calls, etc. But the court would have to see a pattern of that. So I've given you a full and fair opportunity now to put on the record the instances where you feel essentially, because I haven't heard anything about sexual abuse or sexual assault, so this has got to be about stalking, right? That's what it's got to be about. And so I've given you an opportunity as the proponent here to put evidence on the record. If there is anything else that you think I need to hear along those lines, I'll give you that opportunity, and then I'll give Attorney Pignatello and his client an opportunity to be heard. So what else would you want to say, Ms. Antar?
I just want to say that I do feel that she was stalking me, especially through social media. Every single day, she would always contact me every day saying, tagging me in things on Instagram, telling me you're so beautiful, you're so amazing, going on and on about how she loves me, going on and on how she's obsessed with me. And I'm concerned because I feel that the fact that she has weapons and access to weapons, she knows where I live, she knows where I go to school. She tried to file a false report on me with DCF and use that as a means to harass me with false allegations of abuse. She also tried to file a civil restraining order on me in Hartford Superior Court, which was denied ex parte and then thrown out at a subsequent hearing. And she said at the hearing in front of a judge in Hartford Superior Court that she wanted to apply to UConn Law School, and that's why she called them. However, she actually attended UConn Law School for 1 year during her pregnancy and stated to me that she dropped out because she couldn't handle it. And she never applied to UConn Law School. She called to try to harass me. She called and spoke to the admissions department, telling them that she was getting a restraining order application on me in an attempt to try to get my admission taken away. She also, continued to contact my ex daily since this incident, and he said to me that she's contacted him daily, saying she'll do absolutely anything that she can to try to hurt me. Just like she said to the individual Julian, who she falsely accused of raped her, and she told me that she wanted to sleep with him, but then she's now saying that he raped her. I feel that she is extremely unstable, and the fact that she's telling her own husband, saying we're not even divorced, we've never been separated, she's making up these delusions like in Exhibit 41. She's delusional. She creates these fantasies. I want her to stay away from me. I don't want her to come near my school, my kids, my home.
Okay. Yep. I get it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Can I ask one more question, Your Honor?
Of course.
Ms. Antar, weren't you arrested last week for filing a false report against your ex?
My ex wrote a statement on me, and
all right, yes or no
anyone can get arrested for anything, and that has nothing to do with the fact that, like I said, my ex is trying to do anything he can to try to hurt me. Anyone can write a statement, which those false charges are already in the process of being dismissed.
But you were arrested for filing a false report, right?
And what does that have anything to do with anything? Ms. Protzman also states that
because your credibility.
My credibility. Ms. Protzman also stated that she was a volunteer at several different organizations, and that the only reason she does work in nonprofits and volunteer work is to try to make herself look good, so that when she goes to court with her ex-husband, she states that she's going to say that she volunteers in order to try to look credible. I also have exhibits in here of her saying she doesn't want to attend a religious event, but she's going to do it anyways because she's not religious, and she told somebody she's going to do it just because she cares about her image.
Ms. Antar,
And how did that put you in fear of physical safety? Okay. None of that, Your Honor, meets the definition of stalking.
So I'll give the respondent now an opportunity. Do you want to be heard? Are you going to have Ms. Protzman testify, or however you want to handle it?
I could do it either way. Ms. Protzman, which would you prefer? Do you want to tell your side of the story, or do you want me to ask you questions?
Both is fine with me.
All right. Why don't you say what you think is relevant, and I can fill in wherever we need to.
So first things first, I never stalked this woman. It was a mutual consensual relationship. She actually was the one who initiated it, asking me out for drinks. She also at one point told me that she told her therapist that she was lucky to have me, that I wasn't fake. During the course of our conversation, she asked me 17 times to pick up her daughter. I never begged. I only offered to help her because I cared about her and I cared about the safety of her daughter. And at the time, she was in jeopardy of losing custody for abandoning her daughter for several weeks at a time. Additionally, I never stalked those men. They were romantic interests of mine who actually reached out to me afterwards to warn me that Miss Antar was contacting them to defame my character. I have had consensual communications with both of those men last week, and including one of them donated to my fundraiser. I did not stalk them at all. The comments about my mental health are untrue. I am actively in therapy and also on medication. In addition, the comments that my husband made about me were incorrect. Him and I have been going through separation. We've been working with a mediator in Glastonbury since December of 2020. And he was just doing that to get information from Ms. Antar about that she was giving him about my romantic interests. The people that she claims that I was stalking who are, who had consensual communication with me. The comment where I said I'm an embarrassing stalker was in reference to the colloquial term Facebook stalking, which is something people typically do where they look at publicly available information on people's profiles. And I was just doing that to confirm details that my romantic interest was giving me as to his family. I just wanted to make sure that he was being honest with me. So I was doing investigating into his life.
And you had put LOL after that comment. Didn't I mean it's made in jest?
Exactly, yeah. It's just, I'm not an actual stalker. I've never stalked a person in my entire life. When Vinnie Penn told Miss Antar, this is scary, he was referring to her behavior, not mine. And he also reached out to me afterwards to warn me that Miss Antar was contacting people in my life to spread misinformation and rumors about me. And I think it's important to note that Miss Antar did invite me into her home twice, including one time that I slept over her home. I never once said that I had weapons or guns. I do not have a pistol permit. I've never owned a gun. I have discharged a gun twice in my life in the confines of a certified gun range. And I have an active protective order against my estranged husband. Police removed all firearms and weapons from my home in April of 2021. And since then, the only weapon that I've had is pepper spray that my mother gave me after my sexual assault. And that is the weapon that I was referring to in my conversation with Miss Antar. So she lied about our verbal conversation where I said I had guns. Second of all,
let me interrupt you for 1 second, if I may. Did Miss Antar agree to create troll accounts with you on social media?
Yes, she offered to harass Vinnie Penn online after I confided in her that the demise of our relationship and how I felt like he might be taunting me because he used to post about me often and frequently, and he frequently posts about his lovers. So I was just confiding in her that I thought a post might be about me. It wasn't stalking at all. And he actually reached out to me again via email. We have since resolved that issue and remain friends to this day.
All right, let's wrap this up. I think we've pretty much we know what's going on here. What have you ever threatened Miss Antar's physical safety?
Never. I actually offered to protect her.
Have you ever threatened her children in any way?
No, I would never threaten her children. I would never hurt her children, and I just wanted to help her get her daughter back.
And when was the last time that you communicated with her?
It was in an email on the morning of March 29th when